I was going to replace that lamp anyway. Must be my lucky night. Welcome to Legends of Gotham, where we talk about Fox's hit series Gotham, set in the world of Batman. I'm Bill Meeks.
And I'm Anne-Marie DeSimone.
And we are here for a fantastical event.
Yes.
And that event is the return of one Mr. Jerome Velasca. Velasca? Calm it down, Anne-Marie. No laughing. No laughing allowed. This is not a fun show. This is a talk show. Yeah. Okay, we've creeped people out enough, but we are coming out.
Have we, though?
Have
we really?
As we usually do, Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. EST at twitch.tv/universebox or live.universebox.com. And we have a lot of lovely people over in our chat room with us, like Lone Wolf Pack, Mike Pasqua, and us.
Us talking to Castor, Kid Bills. Oh, yeah. It's a party.
Yeah,
Get in
Castor goes, Jerome.
And I'm sure Jerome will be making his appearance as usual.
Oh, yeah. We can always count on Jerome in the chat room or some facsimile thereof.
Yes.
But people are, starting to come over there. We got a couple minutes late getting started. Some technical issues.
Technical problems.
It happens.
Yes.
It happens. But you know what?
Let's skip that.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk about the problems.
Nobody cares about that. Not even Oswald cares about that.
I think mo money, mo problems.
I think what people really care about is our opinions on this week's episode of Gotham. But we can't talk about them, Anne-Marie, because you haven't given us the riddling, rhyming episode summary yet. So
well, throw it to me, man. All right. Well, the Jerome called seduce a whole city. Dwight takes the stage, but his face isn't pretty. Will Penguin maintain his control over Gotham? With Ed killing gangsters, his chance isn't awesome. Does Jerome forgive Dwight? Dwight makes a good case. Would any excuse repair a cut face? Why staple your visage before you clean it? You'll get infected once you smile like you mean it.
Smile like you mean it! Anne-Marie, what'd you think?
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was a whole lot of words.
That's kind of my impression, too.
It's like, there was a point, because we live tweet, you may be aware.
Mm-hmm. At Legends of Gotham, our Twitter account.
I just sort of stopped because I was like, staring.
Yeah, that last 15 minutes, I didn't want to take my eyes away from the screen and not even to make a snarky tweet.
No, and then even once we got to the commercials, I was just like, I have no words. I can't even think of a funny GIF, which is my thing, apparently.
Oh, by the way, over in the chat room, Kid Bileski came in, and Castor said, computers are great when they work. And yeah, that's very true. And Lone Wolfpack says, oh my God, I go upstairs and I hear voices coming from downstairs because the chat came in randomly.
Nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Sorry about that, Lone Wolfpack.
You're welcome.
Yeah, but I kind of liked the episode too. I thought
it was good times.
The 13th episode of the third season of Gotham, which I believe wasn't the 14th episode of the first season Jerome's first appearance.
It's really close to there.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was his 16th because he was supposed to be the finale of the first season on the original order. But then, man, I sound like a geek. I know these things now.
Excuse me, it was season 1, episode 14.
Well, I do have my geek glasses on tonight, so yeah.
But I think in this week's episode, we've been kind of building to this for a while, and all of Jerome's appearances and all of his not appearances with the graffiti and everything else. But I think we finally saw the Joker's wild in this week's episode.
Right?
For sure.
Well, I mean, they even said Joker's wild.
They did right at the beginning of the episode.
At the beginning.
The episode really could have been called, maybe our episode will be called Joker's Wild. Who knows? Place your votes later on. But it was great to see Jerome return. Even though I knew it was coming, it totally surprised me when he popped out from behind the door. It was just like, he's there.
I kind of thought he would just be gone.
You thought he'd be?
I thought he'd have just took off. Why would he hide behind a door? That seemed a little weird.
Mike Pasqua, by the way, comes up with another good episode title for us, Face Off. That's on the list. It's on the list. Although Jerome very much, when he had the bandages on, he seemed to be acting with his teeth.
Well, that's all he had.
Yeah.
Because technically, his lips and everything were cut off.
Yeah.
So all he had was his teeth. I thought he sounded a lot like the Heath Ledger Joker.
He did.
Okay, I was like, please tell me I'm not the only one.
He had that Chelsea smile from where Dwight was wearing the mask and ripped the edges of his lips. Mm-hmm. He kind of got the Chelsea smile that the Heath Ledger Joker has. But yeah, I think a lot of Jerome's appearance in this week's episode comes down to his physicality.
Right.
And it's improved a lot since his last appearance. I also think he maybe got a little taller. The actor got a little taller. So he seems more long and lanky like the comic book Joker, like his comic book counterpart. You can't see back there.
No.
But, just very long and lanky and Dick Van Dyke, almost built like Dick Van Dyke or something.
Interesting.
And I think the outfit they had him wearing in the morgue with
the
Lee,
black,
the black sweater and everything kind of helped with that too. Has a very slimming effect.
Well, it was the same costume that everybody was wearing when they were in the tubes.
Yeah. He also he had a lot of really good affectations that I really enjoyed. One of them was it only happened a couple times throughout the episode, but he would just like
yes.
Gag.
Yes.
Like, he was just like still trying to get used to being alive again.
Right.
But going back to his comic book counterpart, the whole face-off concept, and we've mentioned this before, but I figured it was worth mentioning again. It comes from the comics. The pretty recent New 52 comics, actually. Scott Snyder. Actually, it's like I said, it's a fairly new edition. It's the storyline is called Death of the Family.
Okay.
And in it, the Joker gets his face removed.
Sure.
Then stolen. I think Harley Quinn gets it for a while. He goes over, crossover with Suicide Squad, gets it back from Harley Quinn, and then retrieves it and reattaches it, much like Jerome did this week. Although I don't think he staples it to his face. I think he just ties it on, sort of like Dwight had it on, just tied around the back of his head.
Right.
My one complaint with the character's return, though, yeah. Oh, before I say that, before I get to my complaint, I do have a theory about the way he reattached his face, though.
Yeah.
I think the face looked kind of like cured leather when it was on Dwight.
Yeah, it did.
So I don't think that was very healthy skin, and he staples it back on. So I have a feeling what's going to happen is there's going to be some sort of decay there. I think that the face that he staples back on is probably going to petrify, maybe turn white, and that's how we'll get to our classic
looking Joker.
I don't know how his hair is going to go green, but anything could happen.
I think he needs to leave it ginger. I like ginger.
He is good as a ginger.
He's good as a ginger.
Sure. My one complaint about the character's return, though, was the catch-up scene between him and Lee in the morgue. Yes, it helped his character and people who might have drifted away from the show but are coming back for Jerome.
Right.
Get caught up on the season and a half or so that has passed since Jerome last appeared. Mm-hmm. But it did feel a little lazy. Okay, let's take 2.5 minutes and Lee's going to say everything that happened in the past season and a half of Gotham. While the writing wasn't great, it felt a little weak. I did think they did it in a very entertaining way, with Twinkie lines and did I do ya, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I will hereby refer to Lee as Twinkie moving forward, just so
I
you
am
know.
okay with that.
Okay.
I actually really enjoyed that scene, and I felt it was significantly more about Lee than about Jerome.
Yeah, as an impartial audience member,
yes,
I enjoyed that scene.
Okay.
But as somebody who likes to analyze and write stories, it felt like an info dump.
But I think you had to have an info dump. Otherwise, what does this character who doesn't even have a face do? He's been dead for over a year.
Very true.
Like, I think this is one of those times where an info dump is okay.
Yeah, it was very much... I can excuse it, but by the same time, it's kind of weak writing. They could have... I think they could have just, had him run off screen and then appear and have all this knowledge. Like maybe he goes and looks at old newspapers and...
But that's not his style.
Yeah, that's not his style.
That's not his style at all.
It's very quick paced once he comes back to life, too.
And where is he going to look at newspapers while he has a bandaged up face? Oh, wait, he doesn't have a face. Like, I think it was a matter of necessity that he grilled Lee.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Over in the chat room, we have some good comments here, too. Castor says that he was definitely chanting Heath Ledger's Joker. Let's see. Mike Pasqua says maybe he had Jerome had lifts in his shoes. Castor also suggests that maybe he could just dye the hair green.
Yeah, I mean, that's a novel idea. I dye mine red.
And talking to Wee, a.k.a. Win, says, I really liked that scene, one of the few Lee scenes I enjoyed. It was edgy and funny to me.
I concur.
And then Lone Wolf Pack says, but how he was walking off the school bus, wasn't he? I'm not sure what that's referencing.
Oh, no, it's because the last episode of last season where we thought that there was a Joker walking off of the bus.
Oh, yeah.
We never really figured that out.
I guess it wasn't the Joker.
It obviously wasn't him. It could be somebody else.
Yeah, and then Jordan over in the chat room says, after all this, I still wonder where in the world is Hugo and Fish.
Thank you.
The last time we saw them, they ran off into the woods together, LOL. We are going to have some potential news on that in our news section. So
it's more of speculation.
It'll be a bit, though. It'll take a little
while
while
to
get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Anne-Marie, you wanted to talk about Dwight, right?
Dwight was right.
Dwight was right.
Okay, so Dwight and the other cult members didn't really seem to have too much of a plan other than to motivate other peoples to embrace being Jerome, not bring Jerome, Anne-Marie. They just basically were going on TV to go, we are Jerome, we are rebelling. And that seems to be about all the further they had thought ahead.
Yeah.
At least that's how it looked to me. But like, when Jerome woke up, how did he know what to do? Like, it seemed like he was in on the plan because he fell right in line with it. Or were they really channeling him that well? Like, Jerome literally.
Well, I think he kind of saw an opportunity there.
Okay.
That was kind of my impression, was that he woke up, he's trying to get, in that scene with Lee, he's trying to get his head around everything that's happened.
Right.
He hears that Dwight has this, basically an army for him.
Right.
And then sees he has his face, and he kind of just rolls with the punches and tries to keep it up in the air.
Maybe. I could see that. But like, let's see. Hold on. Jerome literally woke up, and once Lee gave him enough information, he took to the next level, just like the cult would have wanted him to do. They set the wheels in motion, he'll get over the edge. It was as if he had heard the plans before, which leads me to, had he heard the plan? Because we don't know exactly when he came back to life.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
when they were in, I don't know, the warehouse or whatever, his finger.
I think that happened in the morgue after.
It did both.
But did it happen in the warehouse?
Something yes, because he was like, come alive, why won't you? And like, he looks away and we get like the finger thing too. Or we got something.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to think he didn't come to life at all there? So I'm assuming that Dwight was probably, rattling on and on because he seems like a bit of a rattler. Like he would just ramble and ramble. I don't know. I might be that person. So he may have like heard it subconsciously, like, he may not have been awake, but he heard it. And that's why he sort of knew what to do. It was really weird.
Yeah, Crafty Mojo over in the chat room says, I read it as Lee filled him in on everything and he liked it. Yeah, that's kind of what I
mean, I got that too. Like, she definitely crossed the T's and dotted the I's, not dotted the I's and crossed the T's. No, that's right, Amory. Okay.
Crossed the Y's and dotted the I's.
Right? I don't know. It just seemed like they actually knew what he would do when he came back to life. And you know what? I am Jerome. Thank you very much, Cause the Commotion. We are all Jerome.
Yeah, but you know what? After the parallels with Jerome and Jesus that we drew last week, and about prophecy and all that kind of stuff. Dwight definitely felt very prophetic in this episode. And I mean, I think if Jerome hadn't come back to life, I don't think any of this would have happened. Like Dwight said, but the madness that the city is going to be in next week.
Oh, it's going to be ugly. Wonderful.
In retrospect, it feels like Dwight, was channeling into a higher power or something like that. And not just Jerome.
Not just Jerome.
Did we talk very much at all about the whole "we are Jerome" concept? I know I didn't talk about it. Do you want to talk about that for a minute?
Sure. What would you like to talk about? We are Jerome. There you go.
Yeah.
No, it just seemed like they all latched onto that really good because they're like, no, where's Jerome? Where's Jerome? He's like, quick thinking. We are all Jerome. And there you have it. They all just latched right on and took it and ran. And
see, I kind of take the Jerome cult as almost a metaphor for the audience of Gotham, who were so enamored of Jerome and have rewatched all those scenes a million times.
Right.
That, you know, if Jim Corden were to call one of us like he did Jerome, we would be able to be like, you know, I haven't touched a hair on your girlfriend's head. Just like Dwight did.
Would you then? Because that's a little creepy, man.
I'm just saying that we were so passionate about this character when he first appeared, and then in the hashtag Maniacs era.
I loved hashtag Maniacs, and I'd like that to come back.
And I mean, on this very podcast, we spent hours and hours talking about, oh, what about when Jerome comes back? That's going to be so awesome, right? Oh, Jerome will come back eventually.
He has to come back.
And so I feel like the cult was kind of that, and they were waiting for him to come back and waiting for him to come back. And much like they could have done on the show, they had someone come in who was kind of Jerome, but not really Jerome. And
it wasn't as charismatic for sure.
Nobody really liked it. So I feel like there was almost a bit of a metaphor at play there about the audience's reaction to Jerome and how they would have reacted if anyone else but Jerome would come back to be the full-on Joker. Okay, see, that
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
Although, I mean, to be fair, you know, Dwight does kind of bring them back around by saying, we're all Jerome, you know. But by the same token, I don't think that would have lasted very long if Jerome actually hadn't come back. It would have been one night of craziness and then... that's it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Anything fun over in the chat room?
Oh, let's see. Jordan says, did Dwight think for a second that Jerome was going to be all buddy-buddy with him? LOL, Jerome is so unpredictable. Lone Wolfpack says, the cult is just too over the top at times. Caster Jerome is the catalyst to the bomb. The cult had been building into a spark that started a fire. I see that. That.
We didn't start the fire, though.
We didn't start the fire. Let's see. Monica says, and the light's going out. It's going to be the purge.
The purge.
It's going to be crazy.
Definitely. Okay, so I wanted to talk. Sorry for coughing into the microphone.
No, whatevs.
Hold on. There we go. No, I was just really glad this week that Penguin was smart again. Mm-hmm. He's been very emotional. He's been very moody. He's been very angry and active. He's been a very active sort of person this season, but he hasn't been very smart because in season 1, he was super clever.
Right.
That was his defining characteristic is that the Penguin's umbrella thing. You know, he was very clever. He was scheming schemes upon schemes upon schemes upon schemes. And, you know, as this episode was going on and Barbara started trying to manipulate him, you were like, Penguin, what are you doing? Don't fall for it. Like, you're smarter than this. You should be figuring out Ed's plan at this point. But so it was really nice to see him when he comes there for the big meeting with all the mob bosses and nobody's there, to see him kind of figure out what's going on with Babs. Unfortunately,
he got flipped around again.
Yeah, Ed saw that coming. And again, going on and on again about Ed's sort of Batman's Gambit type plan with Penguin here. He kind of second guesses him and, you know, creates this new cover story. Oh, you thought she was, you know, messing with you? No. Talk to Tommy Bones. Now we'll kill him. You know, so it's a really interesting sort of scenario that's being set up here. Although I did think it was super interesting because it seemed like Babs and Tabby were completely on board with Ed's plan and everyone was going to get what they want and everything. But no, we find out in this episode that Babs and Tabby are planning on killing Ed as soon as I mean, who knows what happened to Butch?
See,
but you know, they're planning on killing Ed at the end of all of it.
That makes sense to me.
But Ed is such a smart dude, and
he already knows that.
Is playing 12th dimensional chess so well. I'm wondering if he's going to see it, and if so, maybe he already has, and maybe this plan is going to take them out too. Maybe some people who need to know will find out that they killed all those mob bosses.
Do not take out Stabby Babs at Gotham TV writers. Do not take out my Stabby Babs.
If they do, then
I'm
if
glaring.
nothing else, they have to stab her, right?
Oh, they have to stab her.
I guess that would be like the fitting end to Stabby Babs.
Absolutely. Over in the chat room talking to Weez. Hold on, it scrolled. Says Olga really needs to stop letting people in Penguin's house.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know what? To the best of her knowledge, Barbara's, she's good people.
Yeah.
She was okay. She was there with quote unquote good intentions.
Cause commotion brings up Disco Vampire, one of the classic lines of the show.
Best
for sure.
ever. Best ever.
And let's see. Then Jordan says, that's another thing. Babs is such a rookie at doing this manipulating thing. Oswald is too smart for that until they got Bones on the phone.
Yeah.
And then Monica says, his feelings for Ed are clouding his vision.
And that's going to be his until he realizes that Ed is behind all of it, which will be when it can't be too late because we can't kill the penguin. There's some canon you just can't mess with. But
yeah, I mean, he needs to be alive for,
20 more years.
Yeah.
But he may go in, hiding. So there's that.
All right. Well, you wanted to talk a little bit about the cat mom, right?
The cat mom, yes. Okay. So it was pretty obvious that Maria Kyle was only there for the money the whole time, right? I mean, that guy over there called it
last week, yeah.
Yeah, he called it. It's been a while. And
it's been a while.
Don't mind us. So Bruce and Alfred knew. And I love how they had already talked about it. It was obvious they had already talked about it. And Bruce goes to Alfred to get the money. Really? It's just, he was like, or gave him some sort of sup, go get the briefcase. He already knew it was going to be double and all of it. It was crazy. So did they really think that it was going to work to give her the money to give Selena a chance to know her mom and vice versa? I mean, I find that a really juvenile thought that.
Well, I think he thought the chance that it would help.
It was the only way there was going to be a chance.
Was worth the money to him because I mean he's Bruce flipping Wayne, right?
Right.
What was it? What's
$200,000 to him? Yeah. So, but I think that the thing is, I think Selena knew the whole time that her mom was just there for the money, but she didn't want her to be.
Yeah.
And until it was confirmed at the end, she was really holding out hope that her mom was just there for her, which I can imagine. I would want my mom to be there for me too, not just trying to rob my boyfriend, basically. And she took her anger and frustration out on Bruce when he really didn't deserve it. He was just trying to help.
Yeah.
It really is pocket change to him. How much did they give Cupcake last year? Quite a bit of money.
Well, see, that's why I think that Selena really believed that her mom was back for her and that things were that relationship was gonna be repaired, and I think when she found out that it was a lie, she became so angry that she let herself believe that she basically, and I mean at this point Bruce is one of these only things,
right?
But she struck out at anything that was even similar to that dynamic she had with her mom, and because Bruce lied to her or didn't tell her, wasn't truthful with her about why he was giving the money and why he was being so helpful towards that end and everything, I think she just immediately attacked him. Although she was very savvy in the scene where they were planning it out and figuring out how it was going to go down and everything, because she was like, no, you could just spend the money on a lawyer and it would be a lot cheaper.
Right.
Then that way this bad guy isn't getting the money. And it kind of surprised me that Bruce didn't walk down that road with her a bit more. But he probably had an inclination.
He already knew.
Yeah.
He already knew. And I think that was when she figured it out for sure. She really was and this is not about me, because she won't even save herself. There's an option to save herself.
Yeah.
However, really that fight between her and Bruce was awesome.
Yeah.
It was really nice to see, because that we haven't gotten to see him do that in a while. Even the sparring with Alfred.
Yeah, I have some words on that in a couple minutes.
Okay, I will just stop talking then. Thank you.
I was warning you.
It's fine. I'm good.
No, but really interesting dynamic. I do wonder how their relationship is going to proceed from here, though.
I think this is where it splits.
Yeah.
I think this is where you get Batman and Catwoman with those underlying feelings that last forever. I think this is a big part of where that happens.
Yeah, over in the chat room, Casa Commotion says Selena will be even more cold to Bruce, thick walls, and then Wynn says Selena was probably mad at herself for letting her guard down a bit with her mom. Very true.
I'm
very
sure.
True. I definitely agree with that. And so Bobby Hawk says great scene, and a lot of people like the sparring too.
Well, it was just we haven't gotten it about a year.
We've
none
got
of
a little like boxing,
right, little bits, jumping over buildings and buying burgers, but we haven't really gotten a good fight scene with Bruce, and this actually gave us a little taste of that.
Definitely,
nice.
It was very nice, and although it was one of about 1 million times in this episode that you saw these relationships and these strong relationships, these strong dynamics, these strong partnerships,
right,
sort of falling apart all across the board. Now, I have some notes on that in a little bit, but kind of leading up, I think, into next week's episode. But we'll talk about that more in just a minute. But right now, it's time to look at these jokers.
Look at this joker. Look at this joker. Look at all these jokers. There's one there. Look at a joker. Look at a joker. Joker. Look at these jokers. Look at this joker.
You gotta look at the jokers.
Wait till we find the joker.
If you don't look at the joker, whose name is Jerome. Yes, look at this joker where we, every week since the show started, we've been going in here and we've been looking at, Easter eggs, references, outright appearances of the Joker. We see some graffiti there from episode 1. And the
That's
Blue
right.
Man.
We've been following the graffiti for quite a while. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Ace Chemicals and Arkham. Viper gas was green, I guess. And all sorts of like suspects. And then eventually Jerome showed up. And we've just kept this going for about 3 seasons now, all the way up until this week, when really it's really hard to like nail down a particular Joker this week.
Yeah, this week, I don't know who could possibly be the Joker from this episode.
This week, it's really look at these Jokers.
Look at
right?
all these Jokers.
There were so many Jokers and Joker homages in this episode that it's hard to know where to start. If nothing else, our prediction a few episodes back about the death of the family homage was spot on. Like you'll see that back on the page here. We called that a few weeks back. But I just wanted to take a chance to we grabbed this. Let's see if I can make this any bigger here. I don't think here. You know what? I can. Boom. We grabbed just a few of the Jokers here that we really took a liking to. We have, of course, the Joker's Wild Playing card, and then Jerome in the face bandages, and then a ton of cult members. And seriously, it was an homage to basically every look of this Joker that has ever really existed. Anything from the Cesar Romero Joker to several comic book versions, alternate and whatnot. I saw a couple costumes that were homages to his henchman from The Killing Joke. I don't think that ended up in this compilation
that
picture
would probably
here.
be because I wouldn't have known better.
Yeah. But so many
Jeromes.
good things. And also, Cause Commotion in mentions that in the pod, Jerome looked like the Jack Nicholson Joker.
He looked so plastic. It obviously was plastic, but...
Yeah, and I'll say the hashtag Maniacs Joker that Dwight was imitating a lot in this episode was very much the Jack Nicholson Joker too. I think Jack Nicholson dies for a year and becomes Heath Ledger. You saw it here first. Okay, we're going to get back to the main discussion in just a second here, but first of all, guys, we're running a contest.
We have a contest. Yay!
For these guys. Some toys. For this one. For some Gotham toys. But here, we made a little video explaining it. So take it away, Anne-Marie and Bill from the produced past.
Gotham Bulletin. Penguin and Enigma are attacking the GCPD.
There, we infiltrated the GCPD. You'll pay for not being my friend, Jim Gordon.
Listen here, you pencil-necked dweebs. Bullock and Gordon are here on the case.
When is the time of a clock like the whistle of a train? When it's 2 to 2.
Karate action. Real character voices you provide. And now, Arkham action Stabby Babs.
The jig's up, Barbara. You're coming with me.
Any chance you'll let me gut you like a fish?
It's fun for the whole family. Win Bruce, Saz, or Stabby Babs figures by entering our Gotham Sweetheart contest. 3 chances to win. Follow us at twitch.tv/universebox, support us at patreon.com/universebox, or leave a review for any of our podcasts on iTunes. We'll pick the winners on February 14th. Gotham action figures from Diamond Select Toys, available online and at toy stores nationwide.
Bring Gotham to life!
Yes, the Gotham Sweetheart giveaway. You have until February 14th to enter. And, there's a lot of ways to enter, as we mentioned in the video. The easiest one is to go to twitch.tv/universebox and subscribe to or follow us.
And if you are in our chat room, you should be subscribed
You've
to us.
You've already been entered. You might be winning.
Oh, no, they're only entered if they subscribe. You don't have to subscribe to chat, but...
Yeah, just make sure to hit that follow button there at the top of the
please.
page, or do it after, whichever. Another way to enter, of course, as we mentioned in the video, is to donate to our Patreon. We're not going to belabor this since we're running the contest video, but... Patreon.com/universebox. Great way to support us. One of the rewards is being
$5.
The $5 Star Patrons Club. Anyone who donates $5 or more a month gets a shout out on the podcast every week of the month for the
every episode that we record, no matter what show it is, that month.
Also, we'll cut your face off. The people whose faces we're cutting off this week or this month are Becca Baca, Cliff Sullivan, Angel, Jason Ritter, Monica Jones, Other Anne Marie, Casa Commotion, Sage of Earth aka Patty, Jacob Newman, Robert Cattler, Hope Mullinax, and Jessica Gonzalez. You guys are awesome.
I think I'm going to have to cut off Other Anne Marie's face because Anne Marie, Other Anne Marie.
And I'm taking Cliff Sullivan's.
You're taking Cliff?
Definitely.
Nice.
Definitely. I'm going to jump off the cliff. You can too. Jump off the cliff at patreon.com/universebox.
And remember to think outside and leave reviews.
Yes, definitely. That helps. Okay, so I guess we should get back to the main discussion here a little bit. Okay, so, as we were talking earlier, that in that scene between Bruce and Selena was a big part of it. But Bruce had a lot of bat-leaning moments in this episode. Besides all the Batcat stuff, Bruce does several things that just scream Batman to me. First, after Selena's, the whole Selena's mom situation.
Selena's mom.
He's got it going on. But he leans over, brooding in a chair in front of the window, which is very much like the original comic book origin of Batman, where, he goes out fighting, doing the vigilante thing in just like a ski mask and, just by himself, and he gets his ass kicked. Yeah. So he comes back and he's like, no, criminals are a superstitious and cowardly lot. I need to figure out some way to strike fear into their hearts. And then a bat flies through the frickin' window. And he gets the idea to become Batman. And that's sort of the pose he has when he's considering Maria's offer in the study in this episode. So I thought that was kind of fun. And then, as we've kind of mentioned before, he fights Kat without actually fighting her, blocking every blow with a grace we haven't seen from him yet. With a very Batman-like grace. He doesn't need to land a blow in the situation, so he doesn't. But he can still hold his own completely. And it's just like tap, 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 tap. Kind of fighting, which is a lot of fun. Right. But I think that they leaned into and made him very batty in this week's episode to tease a full-on batty brawl next week.
Yeah, that preview really...
Yeah, with the city in the dark and the major power players divided, Bruce might be all that stands between Gotham and Jerome, but I have more on that later.
Okay, well, if you have more on that later, I'll wait for my question.
And I think over in the chat room, they're upset that we're cutting people's faces off. Sorry.
Sorry.
Has to happen. You should have
You paid for it.
Yep.
You paid for it, Monica. You're welcome.
Okay, so you want to talk a little bit about Babby and Tabby.
Babs and Tabs are in charge, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Sirens. Where's Butch? Anybody?
Yeah.
Anybody? Butch.
Nobody knows where Butch is.
Butch.
Where in the world is Butch Gilzine?
There you go. So the last time we saw him, he was basically with Tabby, and now in this episode, Tabs and Babs are sealed with a kiss and looking rather cozy as their old selves. Like Tabs actually looks a lot like her pre-Butch self, with her assassin's outfit complete with her high murdering ponytail. So
plus Tabby seems to be doing very well with that reattached hand.
And no sign of trouble with her previously disconnected hand. It's like plot point gone. That didn't happen. Butch got, where you could attach things to it, but not Tabby. And while I'm completely okay with Babs and Tabs being together, in fact, I very much love it. I just want to know if Butch is like maybe with Ed at Kane Chemical or whatever that side of the plot is, or has he gone the way of Montoya and Alan? Because this seems like a way that they would shove someone out should that be necessary, or should the actor request. Now is the time. So I just, that's a question. Also, I love that they are using Nigma to wipe out Penguin and the rest of the underworld leaders or families. And then they're just going to take over. But I'm scared for what is going to happen when that backfires. Not if, but when that backfires. I hate to say it, but Nigma is much smarter than either of them, and it's not going to end well for the Sirens.
The fact that there's going to be this obvious showdown at King Chemical,
right,
got me thinking about Ace Chemical, and with Jerome being in the picture here. I know that they're two separate companies and everything, but I wonder if there's going to be some sort of weird twist in that it's not going to be Ace Chemicals where he falls into the vat, but maybe he ends up at Kane Chemical too. That was the thing. When I heard anything chemical, I was like, and we're bringing it back around and looping everybody together, because right now this storyline is completely separate from the other one. There's no crossing the over. So that could be a great. And one of the big frustrating things to me throughout this episode was seeing Jerome interacting with all of our heroes, as we've seen him do forever now. Right. And I mean, he did have a pretty close relationship with Galavan and Babs and everything. Galavan. But I just want him to. I want Jerome and the Penguin to meet. I feel like.
Have they never met?
I don't think they've ever met. No. I want to see. I want to see how they interact, because. You have Penguin, who is a little psycho, but is also very smart and collected and measured. Right. And Ed's kind of the same way. And then you have Jerome, who is not, but is probably more effective than either of them for it. Right. So it's just something, I can't wait for that moment. I hope it happens next week. Maybe at Kane Chemical.
Maybe.
Which I'm assuming, by the way, Kane Chemical is probably a reference to Kate Kane, a.k.a. Batwoman from the comics. Also one of the big families of Gotham that was mentioned back when...
Oh, when we had the
book and Galavan and everything.
Which, I mean, still makes it important, which is probably why Kane Chemical... So we have the Waynes, the Kanes...
Waynes, Kanes, Brains... Lanes, like Lois Lane.
Whoa.
Wrong universe.
No. Not the wrong universe.
Well, there's not a Metropolis in the... No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
There's
on Earth G.
To the best of our knowledge.
Earth G is Earth Gotham, which means that the entire Earth is made... Gotham City is the entire Earth. It's a very small planet.
Very, very tiny planet.
And let's see. Wynn in the chat room says, I'm hoping Jerome will be the agent of chaos that screws up Ed's master plan.
I'm sure more on that later.
For sure. But right now... The Twinkie is sick.
The Twinkie is sick.
As I mentioned last week, I think we're getting more and more evidence that Lee Tompkins is infected with the Tetch virus. Her behavior this week is even more erratic than it was last week. Last week, you could say maybe, her husband that she's known 3 months just died. She's getting over that.
Right.
But this week, a week's passed in TV time, which is like a year in real time. So, I mean, she should be well over that. And she's
Jim doesn't even have those 3 dots healed on his head yet.
Yeah. So I guess not that much time could have passed.
Not much time at all has passed since December.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But, like I said, her behavior this week is even more erratic than it was last week. She injects a dude with truth serum, which among her other out-of-character acts throughout the episode. I think this is the virus just starting to come out. Just like Mario and Barnes is exposing a very powerful side of her that she's trying to keep hidden. One of her defining characteristics is that she's always been very kind, and she's always been...
To everyone.
And she's always been very supportive, particularly of Jim, even when Jim is breaking the rules or doing morally ambiguous things.
Because she's like, Jim...
Because she's had this faith that at the end of the day, Jim is
A good person.
A good person.
Right.
But I think this is the other side coming out. She's not interjecting herself into conflicts to stop problems.
Right.
She is running in and doing really audacious things like stabbing a dude in the neck with truth serum, something that is completely against the Hippocratic Oath, to kind of solve the problem. She's letting her gut take the lead. Would the old Lee have tried to trick Jerome into killing himself? Never. Absolutely not. She wouldn't have done that. She would have, I think she would have been scared of Jerome and she would have maybe pitied him, but she wouldn't have been antagonistic.
She wouldn't have been at all the way she was with him.
Towards him.
No.
But now she's okay with that as long as it works towards the greater good. So I think what's going to come out is that Lee is infected, but I also think that she's going to end up being the first one cured from it because I don't think they could kill her off. I think maybe she could go to the sanitarium for a while with Barnes or something like that. But I don't think they're going to kill off the character.
I don't think so either.
So I think she's going to be the first one cured, and which might even lead to a healing redemption arc for Barnes. Like maybe he'll circulate.
See, I think he needs to get out and be a villain for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I think like one good outing as the executioner, full costume and everything.
Ooh, a costume.
And then they heal him, and then they
heal. Sorry.
But let's see. Over in the
There's
chat,
lots of cult-like things in this episode.
Over in the chat room, Wynn says, I agree, Lee is totally jacked up on the virus.
Nope.
And then Caustic Commotion says maybe Jim will kill her because she is sick. She'll become out of control and maybe attack Jim.
I could kind of see that.
They kind of foreshadowed that. She was like, well, why don't you put two in me like you did Mario? And she was like,
she has a pilot on another station in the fall.
Yeah.
So they have to do something with her.
And she was very tough, very jabroni-ish when she was dealing with Jim the entire episode. You know what I mean? Another way she was acting completely out of character, which means she's sick. The Twinkie is sick.
The Twinkie is sick.
Okay, Anne-Marie, you want to talk a little bit about Jim and Harv, right?
All right, dear Jim and Harvey, the symbol has been everywhere since Jerome died. I actually kind of wish
the Joker symbol.
The Joker symbol.
Yeah, we've been pointing it out.
We've pointed it out. We've pointed it out like 2 or 3 times when it was like gigantic. I kind of wish we'd have properly known or thought to keep track because I bet you it is in every episode.
I will say if you go to legendsofgotham.com /look at this Joker, just click look at this Joker up at the top of the page. You'll see most of them because I anytime one's made an appearance, we've made a point to put it on that page.
Anytime one has made a blatant appearance,
we've caught.
That's what I'm saying is I have a feeling that if we would go back and look at the other episodes, I bet it's there.
Yeah.
And we didn't see it because it just blended in the background, which was the point. Because they're like, we haven't seen this. And obviously they should have. It was in the Narrows. And the Narrows is like badness.
Yeah, I mean, it's been everywhere forever.
Everywhere. Right. But I do wonder, okay, let's see. Do I have a feeling every episode somewhere? I do wonder exactly how it is used, though. Is it a symbol of unity and support? Or is it a means of communication like they talked about? I feel like it's probably the former because they are frequently made, in paint and on the side of buildings. So it feels like it's a bit more of a support. But so was Dwight the originator? Do you think Jerome will continue to use it? Or will he just like adopt it as his symbol? Will be like, that was pretty cool. I'll keep it. So there's that.
I also wonder how big the cult actually is.
Right, because we've seen, roughly 50 to 75 dudes and chicks.
But then again, when Jerry appeared and there was that concert, there were probably a couple hundred people there.
There was, but I don't know if those were necessarily part of the cult.
Yeah.
It was a club with the theme, I think...
Well, that started with the whole, Jerome showing up on the TV behind her while she was performing. Right. And people reciting what he was saying.
Right, and I think that might have helped push it. Unrelated, kind of. So having the symbol on Jerome's tube thing where they took his frozen body from really reminded me of Batman versus Superman where there was the Joker writing on the Robin costume.
Oh yeah.
And it's especially intriguing since next week the episode is going to the circus and me and him were talking about maybe he kills the Graysons, but is Bruce really old enough to adopt a baby?
Because Mrs. Grayson was pregnant with Dick the last time they appeared back in season 1.
We don't know necessarily that it was with him. Well, she was just pregnant. She
in
had like
every
just found
version
out.
of the story ever, there's only one Grayson kid.
Well, and
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Because they're circus people. They can't have a ton of kids.
they're
But-
circus people. They can have an absolute
But what
ton
I'm
of
saying
kids.
is enough time has passed since their last appearance that she could have had the baby.
And he'd probably be about 2 by now.
Maybe not that old.
It was mid-season 1.
Yeah.
And we had a 6-month time jump.
I guess there have been a couple significant
There's been a couple significant time
too,
jumps.
so. Not quite old enough for Bruce to adopt yet.
No. But see, this is actually even more intriguing the more I'm thinking about it now. Because so we're going to like a circusy thing. Jerome is circus people.
Yeah.
Which gives him actually all the more motivation to kill said Graysons.
Very true.
Because he hates circus people because that's what ruined his life to in his
Well, were they
twisted brain.
They were from the same circus too.
Oh my God, they were.
So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Oh,
We've cracked it, guys.
We've cracked something, and it all came from me putting a Batman versus Superman thing.
And we're gonna back away from it now, so we stop so we don't
Theorizing.
go from theorizing to spoilering
Because we don't know.
Yeah.
Over in the chat room, there's a few people talking about Harley. Yes, I believe it was in our news last week that they've basically confirmed that we are getting Harley the season finale this season.
Yeah, and we might have some episode titles coming up in our news section that might shine a
lead that
little
way.
light on that.
Right.
In Cost Commotion says maybe Lee becomes Harley. That would be an interesting take, but
I don't like it.
I don't see it happening.
Sorry, I don't like it.
But it would definitely.
I think
be
we had
an
more
interesting take.
a more beginning of that season. What? No, I think it was season 1 because we did have that psychiatrist. I don't know the difference.
Yeah.
One gives meds, one doesn't. Who made the dudes kill people.
Yeah.
So I think that is more along the lines.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually see maybe that character coming back around.
But see, then
she was Harlan.
Harley, before she meets the Joker, she's relatively normal.
That's
you know,
true.
the Joker
so we
kind of
haven't met her
turns
yet
it.
because nobody's normal yet.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
Moving away from
Let's
this.
move on. Move away from the topic.
Back away from the spoiler areas.
I just wanted to say, Hugo
Hugo
becomes
becomes
Harley.
Harley.
I like that win. So I just want to say, sorry guys, I called it again. Except I called it maybe a few weeks early, because back before the 2016 winter break versus the 2017 winter break, back in the last episode in December, I was calling that last episode was going to show. It was our episode 91, I think, in a segment called Agents of Chaos.
Yes.
I talked a little bit about Jerome.
Yes.
And I said, we heard / saw him last year in the season finale.
So we thought.
Or so we thought. And odds are he's going to show up sooner rather than later. Swooping in and upsetting plans on all sides is exactly his type of joke.
Mm-hmm.
Lo and behold, I kind of called the climax of this episode. Because Ed and Penguin's feud has destroyed any strength Gotham's mob family's ever had. The Tetch virus has weakened the GCPD. There's not a captain. There's moles in the house now.
There's moles in the house.
And then there are hills. Bruce and Selena are on the outs. Every font of strength we know of in Gotham is torn asunder and just falling apart.
Except for the Court of Owls.
Except for the Court of Owls that we know of.
That we know of.
And
More on that.
which is a great time for Jerome to blow up the power grid and become that agent of chaos that I sort of predicted a while back. Now, this whole setup reminds me a lot of the comic book storyline No Man's Land.
Okay.
It was I think it was through about 2 years worth of books back in the 90s. Denny O'Neil, I believe, was the writer on it.
Oh, well, that one.
Basically, martial law is declared in Gotham City. Like, the government comes in and they're like, okay, if you're not out of here in a day,
You're done.
you're not getting out of here because we're blowing up the bridges. We're closing off all the borders. No one can get in. No one can get out. Gotham is going to become a no man's land.
Got it.
And so the whole place is closed off. There's no power, no rules, and only the Batman there to keep all the criminals in line because it's mainly the criminals who stayed. The criminals and the poor. So it's kind of the same sort of setup now where, I mean, I know they haven't blown up the bridges and everything, but
Yet.
Gotham without a power grid is a pretty scary place. And I think a lot of people are going to be taking advantage of it, especially considering unlike the last time something like this happened, back in the season 1 finale, you don't have the mob who can kind of keep control of their turf.
There's almost no mob left.
There's no GCPD left, really. There's no organization to them. There's no sort of
Harvey
head.
is in charge.
Yeah.
So Jim is in charge. Harvey is just by title.
In this episode, Jim seemed in more charge with that fake out phone call to
that was good, by the way. We
get
didn't
the
talk
mole
about
out.
it. I
Yeah.
liked that.
Than Harvey did. So, any possible person who could stop all this from happening is MIA. Right. So, as Jim says at the end of the episode, oh my God. I'm so excited.
It was so good.
I'm so excited.
Yes.
I can't imagine a better way to end the episode. And it's not, the thing is, it's not just Jerome that's going to be running all over the city. It's going to be everyone he called to action. Everyone we saw laughing in the episode where he dies.
Yeah.
Which
was a lot of people then.
Yeah, and it's just grown and grown and grown. So we're going to have this cult. We're going to have Penguin and Ed fighting. It's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be nuts.
It's going to be something.
I can't wait. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Jordan over in the chat room says, a random thought, Babs and Tabby, they think they are in charge until Fish shows back up. Dun, dun, dun.
That's true. That's
Very true.
We never know. We never write off Fish. Never write off Fish.
And Bobby Hawk says, I liked Bill's Harley theory. Thanks, Bobby.
Well, you guys do share a brain, so I'm sure your voicemail says the same theory.
Okay, so you want to wrap us up with some Indian Hill talk, right?
Yes. Okay. So the government shipped the stuff from Indian Hill, owned by Wayne Enterprises, to another facility after it closed. The new facility is also owned by Wayne Enterprises, or rather, the Court of Owls.
Dun, dun, dun.
We haven't forgot about them, have you?
No.
I need more of this Court of Owls storyline. Like, this is really all this point basically is. It's like, I need a showdown between them and Jerome. Maybe. I don't know. I need more Court of Owls. Yanni Bruce. Okay.
Show back up.
This just pulled out my old Italian lady hand, and it wasn't intentional. I need to find out about Yanni Bruce.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, because, I mean, really the court is really the only, sort of actor in Gotham here that hasn't really shown a weakness, except for the fact that the Waynes have the owl statue.
They have the owl statue. And you know what? There's whatever the relationship is with Falcone, who didn't make an appearance in this episode directly, at least.
Yeah.
He's got his in with them. Mm-hmm. And then it's also whatever the Gordon relationship is to the Court of Owls. It all needs explained. Gotham TV writers, What are you doing to me? I don't understand.
Okay, well, we've talked almost an hour on this episode, so we should probably wrap up now. Okay, so time for the arbitrary scare, where I throw out a random number and a thing, and we decide how much we like the episode within this scale. You guys can vote in the chat room, too, or let us know in the chat room. Okay, Anne-Marie, out of 37 little Twinkies, how many little Twinkies do you give this episode?
You're going to like this.
Okay.
37.
37? What? A perfect score?
From me.
What?
It was amazing!
I have to take my hat off because my brain's expanding.
No, I mean, I don't think I disliked anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, have I complained other than where's Butch?
No, not at all.
And that doesn't happen. I complain about all of the things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. I can't, this was so good. And the preview for next week looks even better. So, next week, I'm already giving it 40 Twinkies.
Nice.
I'm preemptively giving it better than
it's not going to be Twinkies next week.
I know
though.
it's
Don't
not.
change the scale.
I'm not. I'm just saying. It was so good. Okay,
over in the chat room, Wing gives it 35 little Twinkies. Monica gives it 34 little Twinkies. Jordan gives it 35 little Twinkies. And Casa Commotion, gives it 34 little Twinkies.
Or Inkies.
Inkies. Let's see. As for me, I think I'm gonna have to match you, Anne-Marie. I'm gonna give it 36.9 little Twinkies.
No.
So just chop one foot off Lee, and then that's.
Let's chop the foot off Lee. How do I bring Gotham to life?
Bring Gotham to life. No, but it was a fantastic episode.
Actually, don't bring Gotham to life. I'm a little scared now.
It was so great to see Jerome again.
It was done
He's been
so
sorely
well.
missed.
well.
Like I said, the only issue I had at all was the sort of info dump scene, but even that I thought
It
was
was
well
a necessary
acted
evil.
and entertainingly written.
Right.
So,
It was a necessary evil.
yeah,
And like I said, I think it was more about Lee than Jerome.
definitely.
Darn Twinkie.
Okay, so I guess that about does it for our main discussion. Now, on to the news.
News.
First up, the ratings. Gotham held steady with its numbers last week with a 1.2. So it's Gotham's keeping it going.
The only thing I'll say is it demolished Supergirl's premiere.
What was that?
We had so much better ratings than Supergirl, which was the Kevin Smith directed.
Oh, did it not do very well?
Nah, not really. Didn't even hit a 1.0.
And a Cost Commotion in the chat room mentions no one lost an eye in this episode.
You know, no one did lose an eye.
Which Gotham TV writers slipping, I guess.
They're slipping.
Okay,
Slipping,
so
falling.
next we're going to check out the promo for next week's episode, Turn the Frown Upside Down, another smile-related promo. So let's check this out
Well,
here.
that's because it's Jerome.
Gotham City is very dark.
It's
very,
dark
very
and
dark.
twisty.
And then there's Chemical Plant with some clown stuff.
Oh, was it the chemical plant where they're having the...
It looked like it, yeah.
Oh.
Wayne Manor. Bruce
See,
is
I
very
like this is
upset.
where like Bruce is like going off on his own. No, because
There's
it's an
the-
actual carnival.
There's the circus carnival place. Jerome's face is healed a little bit.
Not much.
And
It's only been-
just a room full of mirrors with...
Okay, so this is my question that I wanted to ask way earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So, what his dying task was to kill Bruce Wayne.
yeah.
But that was, Galavan told him to kill Bruce
Mm-hmm.
Wayne. Why is he still stuck on that? Excuse me.
From the looks of this trailer, he is still stuck on
Well,
that.
yes, I know
In
he
this
is.
week's episode, I got the impression he was just like, oh, that's what I was doing when I died. Oh, like when you
Okay.
pass out or something, you're like, oh, what was I? Oh, I was
when
riding.
you pass out.
I was riding a scooter and then I was falling. Oh, I fell
wait,
on
I
the
fell on
scooter.
the scooter. No, okay. So the entire Batman versus the Joker is all based around Galavan wanting to take out Bruce Wayne because his family wronged his family 200 years ago.
Well, to be fair, though, this isn't Batman versus the Joker. This is Jerome versus Bruce Wayne. Who knows how this is going to end up? These two kids might not know that they're the adults when they get to be that age. Like, Bruce might know that Jerome's the Joker, although he probably should.
I mean,
But Jerome definitely won't know that Bruce is Batman, or
Right.
most likely won't. So,
right.
So it'll be interesting. But okay, so our next story over here on Reddit, over on the Gotham subreddit, they ended up revealing, or someone tracked down on TV Showtime,
Hey.
the episode titles coming up and a couple episode descriptions too. So these are a little spoilery. So we understand if you want to bow out or maybe fast forward about a minute and a half. Okay, so episode 15, by the way, the new, instead of Mad City, when they come back, it looks like it's going to be called Fallen City.
Which totally makes sense since the whole thing's in the dark.
Yeah. But episode 15 will be called How the Riddler Got His Name. In the description, as Ed finally gets Penguin to pay for his terrible actions and finds himself with a new dilemma on which path to take.
Oh.
Okay, then episode 16 would be called How the Penguin Lost His Power.
Which we kind of knew was happening, right?
Yeah. Oswald encounters a past ally from the mob that will form him as who he really is. I think they might have made it.
Falcone.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Falcone.
It has to. I mean, that's literally like his only ally from the or Fish.
Or wait for it.
Oh.
Okay, so episode 17 is going to be
Well,
called
yeah.
The Outsiders, which there is a comic book team called The Outsiders that is led by Batman.
Okay.
So I'm thinking this might be our heroes coming together in a way some way outside of the GCPD
Okay.
to maybe, deal some justice.
Right.
Okay, then episode 18 is going to be called Meant to Be.
That could be literally anything.
19 is going to be called Scarred Absence. So, yeah, I'm thinking that might have something to do with Jerome.
Yeah.
Episode 20 is going to be Out of the Frying Pan into the Fire. Episode 21 will be From the Ashes. And then episode 22, the finale, A Fish Out of the Sea. So, Fish has been swimming around and she's going to come back out, I guess, or something. I definitely feel like, yeah, they're setting it up to where maybe Fish and Jerome are the big pieces of the last few episodes of this season.
This really, because out of the frying pan into the fire is also another like phrase, like I think it usually has to deal with fish.
Yeah.
So, to have that right after that scarred absence, that kind of.
But if you have any speculation on these episodes,
go.
definitely feel free to write in. Also, when you get done watching the episode next week, go immediately to your computer or your phone, write or call in. legendsofgotham@gmail.com is the email address. Twitter is @legendsofgotham.
Yes.
Facebook is facebook.com/groups/Legends of Gotham. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. You can also catch us on Channel 9 out of Gotham. As always, we're going to start off with the voicemail from Bobby. Take it away, Bobby.
Hey guys, it's Bobby. Okay, so of course this is what we've all been waiting for, the return of Jerome. Even though technically, this whole 3-episode arc is supposed to be the return of Jerome, even this week we didn't get him until like 31 minutes in. I clocked it, but who's
I was
counting?
about to say, because no one's watching it or anything.
But there were other things going on this week. Of course, we've got Nigma and Babs pulling one over on Penguin, and I think they are doing that beautifully, totally driving him mad. I can't wait to see that come to fruition, exactly how that all plays out. And I want to totally see, after reading interview with Corey Michael Smith, I want to see Riddler in his full regalia. I know we've seen him kind of play Riddler with some Riddlers and clues here and there through these seasons, but I just can't wait to see Riddler in full regalia. Okay, then of course you've got Catwoman's mom, Maria, pulling one over, or Catgirl's mom, I guess at this point, pulling one over conning Bruce and...
At first I thought he said Mamaria, like all one word.
Mamaria.
And Selena. And of course Bruce saw it coming, but to be honest with you, I didn't. I didn't see that coming. And I love all the foreshadowing of Bruce and Selena's relationship. I love when they take a moment, like in that fight in this episode, that little fight scene or pseudo fight scene, whatever you want to call it. And then Gordon, I love every... why am I so tongue twisted right now? I love Gordon and Bullock acting as almost kind of co-captains at this point. Gordon's relationship with Lee, even though she kind of half admitted to herself last week that she might still have feelings for Jim, she's definitely trying to push those feelings aside, and you can definitely tell her demeanor has changed, and Jim confronts her about it, and I'm glad he did. Don't know whether she's going to change anything about, if that's going to change anything, but I'm glad someone said something. Oh God, why? Okay. Lucius Fox. I loved all the little asides with Lucius Fox this episode when he was like, "Oh, so I'm just gonna stay here. Is that all right?" Yeah, I'm just gonna stay here. A little things like that.
I don't want to do that.
And then, of course, just last but not least, Jerome, which in all but name. Oh, wait a second. I'm good. Not last but not least. So many people showed up this week. Just about everyone. We even at least heard Nigma. But where's Butch? Where's Butch? No one has even mentioned Butch. Did I miss something? Has someone mentioned Butch and I just didn't hear about it?
Nah, so, we talked about it.
Is he off with Montoya and Alan somewhere? I really don't want that to happen.
Yes.
Please let me know what's going on with Butch. Okay, now back to last but not least, we have Jerome. Again, in all but name, the Joker, iconography and everything. I love the allusions they made to like all the different versions of the Joker in just this one episode, but still letting Cameron Monaghan make it his own. Mm-hmm. I love his portrayal. I love everything about it, and I just loved this episode back to front. As far as ratings go,
he watched it in reverse.
Ooh, that's fun.
Let's see, out of 434 Joker graffitis around town, or you know what I'm saying, Joker graffiti around town, I'm going to give it the full 434. This episode was just great. I can't wait to hear you guys squee all over it, Anne-Marie.
Yes!
And I'll see you guys in chat.
Squee!
Thank you very much, Bobby. Very much appreciated. We have another voicemail from Cliff. Take it away, Cliff.
Oh, yay!
Hello, guys. This
Hello.
is Cliff from Lexington, Kentucky.
Howdy.
I loved last night's episode. It was awesome. It was good to see when Bruce was blocking Selina's kicks and punches, the early shades of Batman, and seeing Joker back. And come on, he is Joker. And next week, it looks like we're going to have a Batman-Joker showdown, the first one. So, yeah, it was stupendous. And I hope everybody's on board with him being Joker.
Oh,
and guess that's all I got. I'm looking forward to the next episode. You guys take care. Bye.
Thank you very much, Cliff.
That's fantastic. Look at that. Quick and to the point.
Yes. Okay, we do have a couple letters before we wrap up here. Over on YouTube, the user Doke Dicer, in response to
last week's episode,
our talk about capitalism,
yes.
Capitalism versus
something else.
Yeah, but he says, how is Batman the story of capitalism working out for the greater good? Batman is the story of capitalism working out for a deranged lunatic billionaire with mommy and daddy issues and a taste for beating up the mentally ill. Capitalism working out for the greater good would be Bruce Wayne using his wealth to improve funding for schools, public health care, particularly mental health care, and not least the police, or just, Bruce Wayne and Wayne Tech paying their taxes to facilitate the elected officials adequately funding said instances. Which, extrapolating from real-world billionaires and mega corporations, they most likely take great pains not to do so, or to not do so. Anyway, I love your work. I love your work, you guys.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I can see what you're saying there. Mm-hmm. However, he wants revenge.
I would respond that Bruce Wayne does do a lot of this charitable stuff.
When he's older.
By the same token, the Batman Project is the least effective way to use his money to save the world and save Gotham City, for sure. Okay, you want to read this last one from Jacob?
Yes, this is from Jacob Newman. All right. Hi, Bill and Anne-Marie. I thought tonight's episode of Gotham was excellent. There is no doubt that Jerome will become the Joker. There's always doubt. There was a lot of foreshadowing in this episode. I like the Joker card at the guard had in his hand and the blood that splashed on it foretold all of the chaos that is going to happen now in Gotham. Cameron's performance was magnetic. And I can't do it. But he had with Lee was great. And the scene he had at the end of the episode with Dwight was terrific. I laughed when the last thing he said to Dwight was that he didn't forgive him for stealing his face. I also said, oh my God, at the end of the episode before Jim Gordon did. Other things that I really liked was the fight between Bruce and Selina. I think that's a crowd favorite, which of course foreshadows the fighting they will do in the near future as Batman and Catwoman. Morena's performance as Lee was good. She is still very angry with Jim and really asserting herself. As for Penguin Riddler feud, plan B is always the way to go. Tabitha was good tonight. Where is Butch these days? See, no, everybody's noticing. I wonder what he is doing. I can't wait for next week's episode to see what happens. We know that Penguin and Riddler are not going to die. Penguin has to stop loving Ed, and I'm pretty sure he will after next week. The big questions are, what is Jerome going to do next? And what is going to happen to him? My predictions are that he will wreak havoc next week, and it will be awesome. Yes. He is going to get caught and sent to Arkham Asylum, where he'll be treated by Dr. Hyland Quenzel. You know the rest, Muffin. Has an actress been cast yet to play Harley Quinn? No. Will it be Barbara somehow? Tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Looking forward to your podcast, Jacob.
Same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you, Jacob.
As always, when you get done watching the episode next week, run
quickly,
and let us know what you think. legendsofgotham@gmail.com. Twitter's @legendsofgotham. The Facebook is facebook.com/groups/legendsofgotham. And the voicemail number is 424-274-2352. Again, that's 424-274-2352. And we really hope you do join us next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. EST at twitch.tv/universebox.
Or live.universebox.com.
Like our chatters did tonight, we cleared out about half of them because we went a little extra long. But
yeah, we're really talking
Bobby,
tonight.
Castor, Monica, Wynn, and the rest. We really appreciate you guys coming in tonight and joining us. We hope you guys can join us next week.
Yes.
Now, Anne-Marie, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter @AMDeSimone or check out my blog, crunchycrafty.com.
As for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Bill Meeks. You can follow all of the podcasts we do at universebox.com. And you know what? You can follow me outside because it's really dark and I'm kind of scared.
Save me! Ah!
Join us next time for more
Legends of Gotham.
It's a good episode.
It was very good.
Long, though. Why are you helping me? We are all Jerome.
Coffee.
Episode titles real quick, guys. Woo! Okay, let's see here. We have 4 options here. Oh, and there's the music again. We have, let's see here. We have Dwight Was Right, Face Off, Joker's Wild, and The Twinkie Is Sick.
Joker's Wild.
Joker's Wild?
Joker's Wild.
That's yours?
Joker's Wild.
I vote for Face Off. Now we just have to wait for the chat room to chime in. Another for Face Off. So we have 2 for Face Off, 1 for Joker's Wild.
Joker's Wild. Do 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 do.
Another one for Face Off.
Do 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 do.
I think 1 more for Face Off and the math will have it. Let's see here. If nothing, oh no, never mind. That was me putting the title in there. I was like, someone voted for The Twinkie Is Sick. No one did.
No, that was literally just you.
Okay, so we're gonna give it 5,
4,
4,
3,
2,
1.
Face Off it is. All right. Night, guys.
Have a good night. Bye.
We love you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Mwah.